Jung sheds light on this complex labyrinth of the human soul. He says that such intense thoughts are not merely an innocent expression of love, admiration, or longing, but rather a sign of a much greater call echoing in the depths of your psyche, sometimes even a warning of danger. At this very point, we must lift the dark curtain behind these intense thoughts. According to Jung, we project onto people in the external world the aspects of ourselves that we have not yet discovered, accepted, or developed. That person becomes a blank canvas for you, and onto that canvas you paint your dreams, desires, fears, and even your past wounds. So when you think about them, you are not actually thinking about who they are, you are thinking about your own inner world that you have projected onto them. This is an illusion. No matter how real it feels, it is a distortion, and over time, this illusion detaches you from reality. It distances you from your true self and builds the invisible bars of an inner prison. That is why these intense thoughts can be dangerous. So what are the psychological effects and risks of this condition? The most obvious one is mental exhaustion and burnout. Your mind turns into a millstone constantly revolving around that person. You create scenarios, analyze past conversations, and imagine future encounters. You dissect every movement, every word. This endless loop keeps your brain in a constant state of alert. As if running a marathon, your mental energy quickly depletes. Your ability to focus declines. Your productivity at work, school, and daily responsibilities. Insomnia begins because your mind never quiets down even at night. It becomes like a whispering chorus that keeps you awake. During the day, you feel as if you are looking through a fog. The real world blurs because all your attention is trapped in that imagined reality centered around that person. This is not just fatigue, it is a cognitive erosion, a gradual wearing down of your mental capacity. Another destructive effect is the loss of self and erosion of identity. You begin to feel like an extension of that person. Your own interests, hobbies, values, and even dreams begin to fade. Everything starts to revolve around them. What do they think? What should I do to make them happy? How should I appear in their eyes? These questions become the foundation of your existence. Your individuality disappears in their shadow. Like a ship that has lost its compass, you lose your direction. You can no longer clearly define who you are, what you want, or what you believe in, because the meaning of your existence becomes tied to this obsessive thinking. This is the opposite of what Jung calls individuation, a process of becoming your true, whole self. Instead, by sacrificing yourself for someone else, you stray from that path. Your inner growth stops because all your energy is directed outward. Eventually, when you look in the mirror, the person you see is no longer the one you once knew, just a pale reflection defined by fixation on someone else. Emotionally, this leads to extreme sensitivity and dependency. Your mood becomes tied to the smallest actions of that person, a message, a silence, a gesture. One moment you feel hopeful, the next you fall into deep despair. It's an emotional roller coaster, and you are not in control. Your emotional balance is dependent on something external, something you have no control over. This dependency resembles addiction. Even the smallest sign of attention from that person gives you a temporary high, but it fades quickly, leaving you in an even deeper void. This cycle keeps you in constant craving, always waiting for a sign from them. It makes you vulnerable and open to manipulation, whether intentional. This is not real love, it is a form of emotional captivity, surrender of your emotional autonomy. One of the most dangerous effects is the distortion of reality. You do not see the person as they truly are. Instead, you see an image shaped by your own projections, desires, and fantasies. You idealize them, ignore their flaws, or minimize their negative traits, or if the obsession is driven by jealousy or resentment, you demonize them, In both cases, you lose touch with reality. You live inside a bubble. Everything about that person becomes part of a mental script or drama that exists only in your mind, and within that drama, you suffer continuously, because your imagined perfection or negativity can never fully match reality. This also isolates you. Real relationships are built between two real people, with both strengths and flaws, but you are in a relationship with ego. No matter how sweet the illusion feels, it eventually leads to a painful awakening. When you face reality, the disappointment and emptiness can be overwhelming. This pattern also causes you to neglect other relationships and areas of your life. You drift away from friends. Your bond with your family weakens. You prefer thinking about that person, scrolling through their social media, or fantasizing about them instead of engaging with real life. Your performance at work declines. Your career goals fade. Your hobbies and interests lose meaning. Your life becomes a tunnel focused on a single point, while everything else fades into the background. This is a form of self-sabotage, sacrificing the richness and potential of your life for a single fixation. And when that person eventually leaves your life, as is often the case with such unhealthy attachments, you are left with emptiness, neglected relationships, and missed opportunities. You find yourself alone in an empty room, because you gave away all the important pieces of your life to that one person. Even physically, this state manifests as sleep disturbances, loss of appetite or overeating, constant tension and anxiety. These are the bodily expressions of your psychological burden. Your body mirrors the chaos in your mind. Stress hormones remain elevated, weakening your immune system and making you more vulnerable to illness, heart palpitations, stomach issues, headache. These are signals from your mind asking for help. Your body whispers a stop. This burden is too heavy, but often you cannot hear it because your mind is filled with that person's voice. Returning to Jung's concept of individuation, thinking excessively about someone is one of the biggest obstacles to your personal development. Instead of realizing your own potential, you try to live theirs or dream about them. This is a state of spiritual stagnation. In conclusion, Jung's philosophy shows that the way out of this obsession is not to give up on the person externally, to turn inward to reclaim your projections, face your shadow, and continue your journey of individuation. This may be painful and difficult. It is the only path that leads to true freedom, wholeness, genuine. Be gentle with yourself in this process. Do not judge yourself. We are all human, and we all must confront our inner darkness. Take a deep breath and courageously step into this journey within.